I finally have listened to every single Strokes album, at least that they have on Apple Music, and I think it's a good time to rank every single Strokes album because this discography is one of the best discographies from any artist of any genre that I've ever listened to, and I fully enjoyed my time with each and every one of these albums, even if I have one rated lower than the others. At number 6, I think the worst Strokes album is pretty easily Comedown Machine. Not to say that this is a bad album by any stretch of the imagination, but I think like the first 10 songs aren't necessarily skips, but they aren't peak music like some of the other albums are. Call It Crazy, Call It Karma. I think that's what the last song is called. That song's really good, but the rest I could take it or leave it. Number 5, I have Angles, and a problem that I have with the later half of the Strokes discography is that some of these beats sound a little too poppy, a little too clean. Back in the day, or Is This It? Like I'm saying that like I actually listened to it in real time, but Is This It? Room on Fire, they really sound like they made it in a garage or something, and these just have this technical sound to it that I don't really like. Their standouts like Maku Piku and Taken for a Fool. But I think the best of the later discography is number 4, The New Abnormal by The Strokes. They have Ode to the Mets on this, The Adults Are Talking, Selfless. This is really the peak form of the poppier sound that The Strokes were going for, which is pretty surprising to me because I'm not a big fan of longer songs, and this album from The Strokes is one of the few albums that they are the only album that they have with songs that are over like 4 or 5 minutes long, but I still enjoy them anyway. Number 3, and I'm not sure if this is a hot take or not, but First Impressions of Earth I think is pretty clearly above everything else, and I would consider this to be like a S tier album, and everything going forward a S tier album. This album is so amazing. Eyes of the World is incredible. Juicebox is incredible. Razorblade is incredible. This is an album that from 1 to I think 14 tracks, I like them all. Obviously, now we get down to the 2 classic albums for The Strokes, and there's only one way to rate this. Room on Fire and Is This It is the best Strokes album. Room on Fire is literally right behind it, but I think that since this was my first experience with it, it's the first Strokes album. I think this is clearly the best one. Hard to explain. It's probably my favorite Strokes songs ever, along with Last Night, Barely Legal, Soma. And then 1251's great, Reptilia's great, Under Control is great on this album. Again, the Strokes discography as a whole is one of the greatest discographies of all time. And if you haven't listened to them before, I highly recommend it.